flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes show all are present. Verification of proper public notice.
The meeting was properly posted.
Okay, public comment on any item not on the agenda. Okay, you've all had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from September 17th. Are there any additions or corrections?
I have one. You know, Chris, I understand that you don't like me and stuff, but to have revealed me as to be super Vratney rather than supervisor on page 2 is probably, my wife looked at that and laughed.
I bet she did. Where was that?
It's
Just so I
on
can change that.
page 2, item 14.
That is correct.
I see it. I'll change that.
See, spell check wouldn't catch that one.
No, spell check.
Okay, because that's a word.
Thank you.
And it is kind of out of order, that's
Yeah,
true.
Thank you. I will change that.
I'm surprised you all didn't bring it up first.
I didn't even see it. I just assumed
You're super Ted
super.
from now on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented with the one change.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the September 17th meeting with the one change. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. It's getting warm enough in here now.
Yeah, it is.
I know,
Holy
I
cow.
got too much on here.
Okay, police chief's report.
Mayor, I don't have to get mic'd up, I'll walk this far. Evening, everybody. Overall, as I always say, life is good. At this point, I've got one candidate I'm looking to hire to fill one of the vacancies I've got right now. I'll be having him coming in sometime in the next week or two to talk to him and feel him out a little bit and see how things are going. Sounds pretty solid so far. He was recommended to me by Captain Tome anyhow, and Captain Tome's pretty familiar with him, so trust his judgment to that point. Most of my budget stuff's been handed over to Chris for his review and cruising and whatever he does, because I really don't know. He had a black marker and he was scratching things out the other day, so. And that, Ted and I have had a little conversation about the speed board things on Ripley Road that we were discussing about 2 years ago. I did some checking with Custom Electronics, bit pricey. I've got some information from Ted tonight that I'm gonna do a little more follow-up on, see if I can find something a little more reasonable in price. It's still gonna be up at, $3-4 grand for one of the signs that you put up that would be solar powered, monitoring speed on Ripley, but it's the way technology goes nowadays, I guess.
Are there any grants available for stuff like that?
Everything I've written grants for, I keep getting rejected just because of the size of the department. We're part-time, and these people that are giving out grants want to give them to full-time agencies. And because we're not full-time, I get my wrist slapped saying, hey, thanks for applying, but you don't meet our criteria. What do I got to do for you, Can I go full-time?
No.
We
Got a turn.
we got costs on those when we did Ripley Road.
Right,
remember?
Yeah.
I'm sure that.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking
So.
about, yeah. But I'll keep scratching and looking. That's all I can do at this point.
But for that price, we can put an officer out there for the busy times.
Yeah, hire somebody for one job. You gotta find someone that's not, working another job elsewhere, and that's the hard part, with the guys I've got right now, they're all working other full-time cop jobs, and everybody in our county is short-staffed. They're running 2, 3, 5 guys short. They're pulling 12 and 16-hour shifts. And that's at the full-time job. Then you want them to come in here. I've been coming in and getting out a little bit, but it's a madhouse trying to find somebody. And the candidates that are out there are coming out of education as a background, no practical experience, no real life experience. They haven't even flipped burgers at McDonald's. So who are you going to talk to find out, what kind of background you got? Are you a good employee? Do you work hard? You got a good work ethic? And I'm feeling the crunch just like everybody else.
Same problem here as the sheriff's office has.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, things are good. Bullets are winterized, put away, and working on that 3-year project projections for you yet as well. Don't think there'll be a whole lot to it because everything's up and running and in good shape yet. So, but I'll have that wrapped up too.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it tonight.
Okay, any questions for Bruce? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Clerk Treasurer's report.
I will keep this brief. The new copier is awesome. So thank you for going through with that new lease. It's good to save a little money, but making these packets was a lot faster than any time I have before. So the new copier is great. I've given all of you the first very rough draft of the budget. We're going to talk more about that later, probably after the employee handbook, but it's not finished yet because we don't have all the numbers. We're still waiting on fire numbers from Jefferson and from Fort Atkinson, so once I get those are actually the last two pieces of the puzzle, which is awesome, but we still have to wait to get those, so we're close. I've been telling Gene we're close, but we'll talk about it in more detail later, and then I think we're looking at having a special meeting, just kind of a working meeting for that budget, so we can talk about that later too, but other than that, things in the office have been humming along. I think that's about it.
Yankees are losing?
The Yankees already lost, so
Oh, it's over.
it's over.
Do you owe
What?
me any money? Did we bet on that?
We didn't bet on this one.
Oh,
What do you mean it's over? They're out of the series?
No, they just
No.
lost tonight.
Oh, okay.
They just lost tonight. So I won't go home and cry myself to sleep tonight.
okay, road supervisor's report. Jeff? You're gonna tell us good news on the shop floor, right?
No, that's on the back burner till spring.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Picking up brush this week, finishing mowing, got 2 days left of mowing. Between the weather and some complications with the mowing tractor and unforeseen flat tires, we'll get her. Then we're gonna hit the trees, between trees and some more drainage work, and then we gotta get some patching done. Hopefully all that within 3 months. Oh, there's only 3 months left.
Yeah.
Did Shepherd ever get done?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's nice.
yes.
Think-
I think it
Last
turned
time I
out,
was on it, it wasn't done.
it turned out really well.
Okay, good.
It raised it up a little bit, but it leveled out really nice and increased the traffic and increased the speed.
And I had positive feedback from some of the people down on Marsh, except, is Bruce still here? They complain about speeders down on Marsh now that it's paved nicely.
Who would want a speed that's only 18 feet wide and ditches about 6 feet deep?
Kids?
So,
Well,
but
we did have a request to lower the speed limit on Shepherd as well.
Yes, and that wouldn't be such a bad idea,
Probably wouldn't,
being as narrow road and it's supposed to be a bike path and,
yeah, that's a designated bike area.
yeah.
I don't know about Marsh. There isn't very many areas you can go much faster than 45 except on the 800 feet we just did.
You know, speed limits have a downside too. If you put one up, then people think it's safe enough to drive that speed.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if
Well,
I-
Shepherd would be fine
Right,
as long as we're on the new road. You get on that older part,
yeah.
45's too fast.
Lucky the new road ends right around the corner, so.
Yeah.
And the board has the power to drop that only
To
10,
45.
yeah.
It would take, we'd have to do a ordinance on it.
Yep. And then would you do the whole thing or just,
Well, if you did it on
You wanna do it for
Shepherd, you'd
Dell, the whole
almost have
thing?
to go all the way out to Dell too.
yeah. Yeah,
You got another mile and a half of Shepherd.
and if you're gonna drive up, you're gonna write up an ordinance, it'll cover the whole thing then.
I think that's what you would do if you were, if we were gonna do that. I think maybe something we should put on the agenda and talk about and make a decision on it.
The farmer did request equipment crossing, which I'm gonna get one, because you come over the hill and there's this,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
that-
get one
that'd
put
be a
on.
good idea. Do we need two of them? Do we need one where Leah's place is too, or just the one up on the hill?
I think just the Shepherd farm there,
Yeah.
because that's a real active one. The other one doesn't have a lot of traffic coming in and out,
Yeah.
and it's straight away both sides.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea, to put one up there. you find any plates for the shop floor?
Nope, not yet.
Does the county have any?
I haven't talked with Sean or Greg.
Yeah, because I think if we don't,
I'll get a plate in there before winter.
yeah, if we can't fix it.
Actually, before we put the big truck back in that side.
You back one in there with a load of salt on it, you're
Oh,
liable
yeah.
to
It'll
lose
be
your
all
heat.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah, we put that plow equipment on there too.
yeah.
Jeff, did you have a chance to check into that mowing of that hill that we had talked about?
Yes, I'm gonna get that taken care of.
What do we call that hill?
Just a hill. I mean, you and I know what we're talking
Yeah.
about, so yeah, we'll get them weeds on that one side taken care of.
It's where all the center blocks go up on Ripley.
Oh,
And then the top of that hill is overgrown and everything's like growing down into the,
I guess we can call it North Hill.
Okay.
Everybody knows that, you know. He lives
That's
right
what I
there.
would say, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, we could clean
yeah,
that
I'll
up.
get them cut back.
any word from Forrest when he's gonna start on Wolf?
He's looking at his beginning of November, his timeline.
Still-
Yep,
Still got a time frame.
yep.
Okay, I talked to Susan today about starting the grant process for our grant proposals for
Great.
next year.
Yep,
So she's gonna do some narrative work.
okay.
When she gets somewhat done, I'll get a hold of you and the three of us can sit on and,
Is she gonna use the Ripley Road as kind of like a,
yeah.
She got the box out today.
A lot of, yeah, a
Kind of
lot
a
of the,
guide.
lot of the narrative from Ripley Road can be used on that.
okay.
Okay.
And one of them, when do they do?
December,
7th?
early December.
Okay.
But I'd just as soon get them in there
Right.
in November, at least by the middle of November.
Do they go through a process at the county level and then the state, or just straight to
No,
the
it
state?
goes right to the state. They, they will have 3 different committees. One will be town, committee for the town, with the town people. One will be for villages, and one will be for cities, one for village and cities, and one for counties. So they're gonna have 3 separate, I don't know how they're gonna divvy the money up. I have no clue on that, but
Is that what was in the newspaper or the?
yeah, that
flyer?
90-10 program.
I don't know why they call it 90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, Susan and Jeff and I went over to the county and viewed the webinar with the county people. And they're pretty confident it's probably not going to end up being 90-10 because of, they're expecting a lot of applications. And they're going to try to get as many of them funded as they can. So it could be 80-20, could be 70-30, could end up being 60-40. Who knows at this point? But we are going to apply for 2 roads and see what comes up. These are pretty spendy, both of them pretty spendy projects. So if we could get some serious funding on them, that would help a lot.
Need help somewhere.
Yeah, so I would guess in the next, maybe week to 10 days, we can sit down again. Maybe we'll get a rainy day to,
No, I don't want any rain.
it'll rain. We'll get rainy days yet. So,
Okay.
any questions for Jeff? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on regarding the house located at N4045 County Road A. How you coming?
It's actually a lot better inside.
Good.
Um,
Ready to move in?
I think you can pull it down. There you go.
Sure, take it right away. So, ran into a problem with septic. What I thought was the septic is just where the drain field, the vent is. We couldn't find it, so I called Jefferson County. Their records only go back as far as 68. That was, that was put in I believe 58. I'm not sure. I don't remember ever seeing the top. My son and I have been out there poking and poking and poking. So what we gotta do is we're hiring a plumber to take a snake and put it down there. They got a little transmitter thing and they'll follow it and figure it out.
That hasn't been pumped since it was put in?
No, it's been pumped. I don't understand it because we've had it pumped, but I never went out there when the guy was there. In fact, I don't even think I was home.
Huh.
So, but he did, the guy that came out from Dvorak's did look down the vent and everything, inspected that, and he said the field is dry, which is really good. He said there's probably nothing wrong with it.
So the field goes down to the west,
The
down
the field's down, and you know how there's the 3 tiers in back? Well, ours is the top, then the next one. The vent's on the 3rd one. We figure it's somewhere, obviously, between the vent and the house. I'm positive it's on the 2nd level.
Probably.
He thought it was up next to the house. I don't think it is. I think it's down on the 2nd level. When my grandfather built the house, I remember him telling me at one point, and I was little, but I remember him telling me that he put the septic down so that if we ever wanted a toilet in the basement, they wouldn't have to have the pump to pump it up into it. So I know it's got to be on that 2nd level. But yeah, I came down because the guy at Dvorak wanted a form to fill out and everything, and you guys didn't have one. So otherwise, everything's been going pretty good. Got everything straightened out with the sanitation department with Badgerland. Yeah. And with Sarah. We got our receptacles and everything. And I thought I messed everything up. I thought that our recyclables was on last Monday, and it wasn't. It was this Monday. When I called, they said it was last Monday, and then nobody picked it up. And I was like, but all it was dividing line is, I guess, the other side of A.
Yeah.
We're on this side, not that side.
Yeah.
So otherwise, everything's going really good. I was kind of expecting you guys to want to do a walkthrough again this week, and nobody got a hold of me.
No, but we can do that if you want. I'd be more than willing to do that.
That or I can send pictures, either whatever you guys want.
Why don't you notify Chris when you're there,
Okay.
and I can swing by?
Well, I won't be there tomorrow and Thursday.
Okay.
Tomorrow I've got doctor's appointments. Thursday I have to take my granddaughter in. She's becoming a nurse's assistant. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got my info, so we can just, we can pick, and I've got yours too, so we can,
You're on speed dial now.
we can pick a day that works, and I can coordinate with
Okay.
anybody, so, yeah, we can totally make that work.
So.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't think we've run into any other snags right now.
What do you, one of the questions or
Sure.
goals we had for you was temporary heating, because you don't have you
Yeah,
come up
it's
with
warm.
something?
We have, we're gonna have to probably replace the furnace. But right now we have space heaters, and they're safety ones. If they tip over or get too hot or
Okay.
anything, they automatically turn off. I was there all day yesterday and not most of last night, but I was there late last night. And once the temperature started to drop, once the sun went down, they were working fine. We only have 2 of them going, one upstairs and one in the basement. I am not letting those pipes freeze
Okay,
ever again. That was way too much work.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So just be careful with those.
I know,
Okay.
that's why I said if they get too warm or if they tip over, they turn off. We have the oil-filled ones. They're a lot safer than the
Okay.
infrareds.
Have you contacted HVAC, somebody for a new
Not
furnace?
yet. We're running on short funds with that right now, so.
Okay.
My son, who is in HVAC, came down and he looked through it and stuff. He said that they have a thing that they can dust that out with, clean it with. It's like a big puffy thing. I don't know what he was talking about, but.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can just give you guys a brief update too. We had talked, they did get a second set of carts, trash and recycling carts for the house. So they have been out. I've been out just doing town errands, and they're out, they're being collected, so there's that too.
You know about bulk pickup, right? We told you about that, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I
they
think
used it.
they picked it up, didn't they?
Yep, they
Yep.
did. Yep.
You
I
call 'em, they'll-
contacted them and made sure that, after I thought that I messed everything up with recyclables, I made sure they knew it was gonna be out there and everything, and the guy was there Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can bring your brush to the town hall, you know that.
Yep.
Good.
And then we have a legal bill that we sent you for legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get that taken care of.
Well, we can start making some payments on it and stuff. I can't do that all at once. That would, you know, that'd be kind of defeating the purpose of getting the money to do the house. It's kind of like,
Well, we can't expect the residents of Oakland to.
oh,
cover
I
those
realize
fees.
that, believe me.
That would, I think, be a good thing for you to work with Chris and set up a regular payment
Mhm.
that we can anticipate.
Yeah.
so
You know what, I'm here, so
Chris
stop
and I are
in.
going to be best buddies.
Stop in anytime.
Well, we're glad to see this progress. I mean, thank you for putting that effort in. I think that's important. The board sees that, and we just hope that continues, obviously.
Yeah, there's not going to be any backsliding, I promise. That's,
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, discussion and possible action regarding the house located at N4056 Marina Lane.
Oh, really? I'm Carrie Dahl. I'm the other half. I don't know if he's coming or not.
What's going on?
Status?
Still got
We
raccoons
have
in the house?
plans if you want to see them. They're not final, we're still tweaking. The backyard neighbor is an architect, and he's been doing the plans. I think we got the most recent set within the last few days. We're looking into doing a prefab, so once everything's approved, we can just, he does concrete, we can get it poured, drop it, it should go up pretty quick. Might be 2 months, might be 6 months. Anything that had to do with a raccoon, we think, has been worked out. And I apologize that it's been dragging on, but I think we're on the right track now.
Is the hole in the roof closed?
What I did was, a week ago, I literally went up into the roof, got up there, took a 1.5 ton jack, jacked up the 2 rafters that were broken, straightened that out. Took 2 shores I had in the garage, brought up the end, put a piece of, I was gonna try to get a piece of plywood up on the side, but I found a piece of foil back insulation board, so I cut it to fit on the side.
That's what it was. I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what it was.
It's foil faced on both
Yeah.
sides. I attached it, seems secure. As far, it looks, I took pictures real quick, sent them to Carrie, told him to send them to Chris,
Yeah.
and they look worse than what it is. Believe it or not, the house is dry inside. Majority of the damage to that edge of the roof, it's curled up now, so it looks worse than what it is. But there's probably a hole about the size of a basketball, which moisture has to hit directly to the end of the house, but it's dry inside. I didn't see any indication of any kind of animals up in the roof, up there in the attic. I looked around, no animal droppings or nothing. I did some backtracking on the raccoon incident. It appears to me it was one raccoon. It was in Mike's garage on the side of his house, and I asked another neighbor first. The neighbor next door, Doug, is one that actually sent the pictures in, and I talked to him about it. I had a feeling the raccoon was more of a, was being fed, because we were talking to our neighbor next door on Marina Lane, Debbie, I don't know her last name. It's Debbie and Roger live next door to us. And she said the raccoon was actually up on her deck, standing up like it was begging for food at the patio door, and her 2 dogs were inside barking crazy. So Mike said he saw the raccoon up on my garage in the back corner. He set a live trap, but the only thing he's caught is a possum. He saw a raccoon dead on the highway. We don't know if it's the same raccoon, but you guys would know if you've seen a raccoon lately. You probably would have got a phone call. So I think the raccoon in question no longer exists. So, but Well, all we've gotten is a possum in the live trap. So I don't think there was anything getting up into my attic of the house. That's on the other side of the property. But at this time, there's no indication. I've been in there. I was a little nervous when I went up there, thinking I'm gonna find some squirrels or something, but there was nothing.
Are you planning to tear it down this fall?
Yeah, I'm not sure, I don't wanna tear it down until we got a definite set of plans. And we're working, like I said, we're working with Mike behind us, and we're getting real close. What I'd like to do is, I talked to Greg Knowles, and he said, we were discussing the garage, there's in a heck of a lot of room, and I forget, he told me how to interpret it when we apply for a permit. What I'd like to do is correct the garage first, so we have somewhere to keep tools and materials, and then take the garage down. It's kind of going 2 steps, because the garage needs to be corrected too. I'd like to take the garage, twist the roof line, and the back corner is the only thing that impedes on the neighbor's property. And when we get this done, I want to make sure everything is on the property.
Yeah.
No questions asked. So
Yeah,
that's.
when we bought it, we didn't realize it was built out of 2x2s, so when we went to go re-insulate and see if it needed new windows, whatever, the neighbor across the street said, you'd be crazy to stick any money into that. You might as well just do something a little more substantial, and that's what kind of planted the seed in our head. So,
So-
yeah, we probably want to tear it
I
down.
would just say to you, you heard the advice that we gave to the previous. Don't cause any more delays. I
No.
think we're at the end of our patience.
I know, no, I'm
with
just
this,
saying, we're
and
moving as quickly.
we would
I
really
can.
like to
Yeah.
see demolition take place. We're not really
Right.
hung up on your plans.
Right.
We'd like to see some movement go forward. I think that's,
Yeah, I mean, we're getting calls constantly, at least I am, and I'm sure the board
Yeah.
has too, about the hole in the roof that's been there for a year and a half.
I understand, that's,
I'm assuming if people are seeing coons on the roof, that they're going into the house.
well, the house is one thing, and it was, honest, I'm not raccoons, whatever.
I'm not
Only
gonna-
had one raccoon sighting, and it was on the garage, which is on the
And
front
I
floor.
get that.
The garage roof is this far out.
I understand that.
So-
Can you fix the hole in the roof?
Yeah, I jacked everything, there was 2 roof rafters that were broken.
I understand
So-
that.
So is it,
Yeah.
Can you
that's what
fix
they're
the,
asking.
Yeah, so the
That's
whole-
the-
my question is, can you fix the current hole in the roof?
Yeah, there's a hole, I can nail a piece of plywood up on the inside, it's a hole, it's this spot, the eave overhangs this far. So, I'm not gonna get up, I was honestly contemplating whether I can get up and try to warp that back down. I don't think there's a safe way of me trying to twist the end back down, so appearance-wise, people look at the side, it kinda looks like, to make fun of the man, but it kinda looks like Donald Trump's hair whisked up on the edge of the house. So, I mean, there's no way I can safely get up there and try to, I mean.
I understand that, but you didn't answer
The
my,
plywood's kind of bent like this, so
Tom, stop
I'm gonna plug the hole.
you are gonna plug the hole?
There's a hole this big,
You're
on the inside that, where moisture can get into the house, I will fix that. But the piece overhanging, which is the eave, can I leave that alone?
I'm concerned about the hole in the roof.
Yeah,
So it goes
hole
into
in
the
roof
house.
I will patch,
That's what I'm getting phone calls about from your neighbors,
okay,
about things crawling into the hole in the roof.
okay, all right.
so I guess, Tom, the question is, when are you going to fix? We've been talking to you since, what, June?
July.
Something.
Well, the whole tree debacle was the guy was paid to do it, he never did. Okay, so we're moving ahead, like I said, we have plans here. we brought 'em.
When are you going to close the hole?
I will, give me 2 weeks, but I'll try to get down on this weekend and get a piece of plywood up on the inside of the house.
Okay, you'll hear
I
from
gotta
us.
take the shoring down, I'm gonna put the piece, try to get the piece underneath the shoring.
We'll be checking, and you'll
Yeah,
hear from us
you'll
in
need
2
to- I'll
weeks
have-
if it is.
I'll try to get Greg Knoll inside so he can look on the inside of the house and look up. Or I can take a picture, looking up, and send it to Chris.
Is the house on a slab?
The house is on a slab.
So what's stopping you from taking it down?
Yeah,
Why would
I
you
just
need to,
don't-
why would you need an approved plan for not,
I don't know, I guess my thought is, I remove the structure, I'm gonna probably have to excavation for the site of the home, and would just dollars and cents. I kinda just want the process to go in one shot. I'm gonna pull, the concrete will get pulled out. I'm gonna have sewer exposed, a few other things. I'd kinda like to just, at the same time, maybe dig my foundation in. I'm gonna try to put a partial basement or some of it and bring the house up and get it out of the hole, under the advice of the architect. There's just, the lot is just in a very odd place. I mean, I got ground up here and ground down here. And I honestly want to get a picture to you guys, so you guys can see what this is gonna look like. And I'm getting very, very close. I think we finally got the house figured out.
See, we aren't too concerned about what house goes on there.
Yeah,
Our concern is we got a house that's had a tree fall on it 2 years ago.
right.
And nothing was done until
So it-
this summer to
okay.
get this tree off of there.
Okay.
We've had complaints this whole time from neighbors. So what's going on? I mean, this,
Well, why don't I do this then? In the meantime, I will, within the next 2 weeks, I'll try to totally seal up that side some way with plywood, insulation, visqueen, tarps or something, seal it up. The house, can we classify it as summer cottage then, until we get this figured out and we get all our costs figured into this? I mean, we're not gonna use it in wintertime.
Okay. Tim.
Can we do that? I
I-
just
we
kinda wanna
would-
do this in one stroke.
Right, we would be much happier with some, just as we've worked with this other family, where we have deadlines and dates, something, sometime, somewhere, I'll soon get it figured out, is not gonna cut it.
Yeah,
Okay, that's why I'm asking you for a date of when you're gonna have the hole sealed. And,
Yeah,
you know, we are really wanting the house down.
I know you want the house done.
And so, you know, give me a reason, or give Chris a reasonable timetable.
Okay.
But we're not gonna put up with another
Okay.
3 months of fooling around,
No, we're-
hemming and hawing.
No, we're
okay?
not.
I don't.
Trust me, going back and forth getting plans drawn is not the easiest thing to do. I mean,
You've had 2
if-
years.
what?
You've had 2
Okay.
years.
All right, fine. The house needs to come down because it's an eyesore, or because of the roof?
It's an eyesore and it's probably dangerous at this point, with broken roof things. And it's certainly an eyesore to the neighborhood. And that's, you know, it took putting the other property under a raise order to get them to, I would rather not do that to you,
Right.
but we can get it down. We can get it down in 2 weeks. So,
Well, what are we
So we
looking
can-
at here? We're in,
no,
We'll
I
get
don't want
that-
to take time now. You
No,
get a
yeah.
schedule, you get it to Chris, and,
Okay,
and
we'll do
and
that.
it needs to be precise, and it needs to show affirmative work being done. I think
Right.
that's my,
I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, want to get it, you know, in one fell swoop. The guy that tears that house down is not the same guy that's going to build for you.
no, I just want to make sure that they're going to allow me to do the garage, leave the garage. I'm going to have to apply for a variance probably for all this stuff, because there isn't enough room to put this house there. So I'm going to have to reapply for variances all over again to move the house back, to rebuild it. And
which is
I'm
all.
not gonna lie to you, if we can't get this done, I might just put the house on the market the way it is, and there's gonna be some guy that's gonna come in and scoop it up and either knock it down or rehab it. There's people that fix these things up all the time.
Yeah, that,
So that's where I'm at, is just, can we build this going through Jefferson County, and are you gonna allow us to build? We're not getting a big house here. We're trying to save the garage. We're trying to get all this stuff going together so we can present it to Jefferson County and present it to you. You guys gonna approve this, make us do this? Or is this not gonna happen and we just get a realtor and sell it as is, and somebody either knocks it down or somebody buys it, these people that come in and fix these places and put them back on the market and sell it? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I just want to make sure you guys are happy this time, whenever we come to I just want to make sure we can build this house here. We actually got a boat slip now we paid for. I mean, we actually finally got a boat slip, so we're serious about doing this. I mean, we are dead serious.
How big a house you planning to put there? Bigger than what's there?
It's basically,
Well,
I mean,
we
let's-
want,
here's a picture
it's
of it
got
right here.
overhangs like this. We were trying to put longer overhangs, but that
This is
puts us
basically
into too big land.
what it is, right there. I'm sorry.
So your setbacks, your overhangs are gonna affect the setbacks, is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yes.
Before, Greg told us to ask, with the storm damage, he said sometimes they allow you to put the property back in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And it took me about 3 weeks to get the gentleman from Jefferson County, and he didn't even answer me. He went through the girl that works for him, said, no, I don't think she understood what I actually says the setback has come from you. So we're gonna have to push the house back, and we're gonna have to reapply for variance, because we're gonna be encroaching probably at least 5 to 8 feet on the rear setback. It's gonna go back that far.
Well,
We're not gonna have much of a backyard.
it's a substandard lot,
So it's where,
so
Yeah.
you have different setback for a substandard lot than you have
we're
on a
right
regular,
at the exact size for lot.
a regular lot.
We're right there, so we have virtually, like I said, that's the problem we have. It's just,
You have 8,000 square feet?
I got,
Oh, really?
And you're close enough to the lake that you're probably lake lot property, which requires 10,000 square feet.
she said, when I called Jefferson County, they said the lake wouldn't impact us, we're far enough away from the lake.
Okay,
that we
then you're
didn't-
8,000 square feet.
So, no, I actually called, when we had the survey, I actually called the surveyor back, see if he could change one number by one-tenth to get us underneath. We're right at the minimum size of a lot, so we don't have any, we're 80 feet by 102.5 on the front,
It's
and
8,000
It's
square
8,000
feet.
square feet.
so we're exactly.
Just a hair over, yep.
So we gotta stay with all the setbacks.
Are you 82 deep? And
We are
100
we are 80 feet deep.
Yeah,
Here's a
okay.
picture of the.
80 feet deep and 100
Here's a
feet
picture
wide,
of what we
so.
got
Yeah,
there, yeah.
okay.
So, and
Okay, I can just tell you that this is going to take you a couple of months to get, once you get to the point, you have to come here to the planning committee, you have to come back to this board for a variance, and then you have to go to the county. So you're talking months, that's why we're
yeah,
sitting
we're
here
probably
saying.
talking at the end of the year, and I'd like to dig this thing, I'd like to do this excavation over the winter, because that's hopefully the water table is the lowest. Because I need to, the idea is I'd like to get a partial basement underneath some of this, one side of it. And, not the whole thing, just one side of it. Because I don't have a lot of room to build a big house.
Yeah.
I only get about 1,000 square feet of living space on the first floor, so I'm trying to get a little bit underneath it. It's just,
Well,
and this
and-
lot is more complicated than I think the thought it would be.
Yeah, and what-
I'm not lying to you.
What Ted is saying is that whole process is gonna take you 3 months to get done.
And you're going to have a difficult time with the water table there.
I had, yeah, I'm just trying to, that's
So,
why
just
I
be-
wanted to get a site
And
plan,
that,
so,
that will be an
yeah, 'cause
issue.
my architect
when
said,
the
you
planning
actually wanna
committee-
bring your floor up to the height you used to in the back corner of my garage.
Well, you've had several go in right behind you in the development back there. You could find out what they have for basements, that'd give you a pretty good idea. But
Yeah.
that area, that development has some basements, some 3-foot crawl spaces
Yeah.
is all they could get.
Right.
Right.
So that varies a lot in that area.
I had a hole dug at one time, and I had a mark on the house, I don't remember where it was, because I tracked it for about 4 months, a couple of years back, and a whole pile of water. And I kinda knew where the maximum height was, actually shooting, I had a instrument to shoot the water level in the lake too, and I was kind of trying to figure all this out, and at one time I had an idea how I could be.
So please get a,
Okay,
get a schedule of what you're
Yeah.
going to do, and
and then,
We'll
I'll
be-
try to make some phone calls with some demo guys too, I mean, and see if I can get on somebody's schedule too, for when it comes to pull this down, because that's the other, you know, getting somebody just to take the thing out. My idea was, like I said, take the house down, and I'm like everybody else. trying to wash my pennies and my nickels and do stuff.
Okay.
If you need some help with the demo, we can get you a name.
Well, I
Out
got a
of
gentleman,
Jefferson.
Steve Gaussman out of Madison,
Yeah.
that I worked with, and I don't think he'd be a problem anywhere here.
Yeah.
And he's very meticulous, and he does a nice job, and he's done footings for me before.
Okay.
But I will try to get a timeline to Chris here, and in the meantime, this will be out there this week, and plug that hole up, and I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, I mean, that's the immediate need, and that's the biggest complaints we've gotten
Yeah,
recently.
Yeah, and then, I don't know,
Okay.
how brave I am, maybe I'll get up on the roof, see if I can step that side
No,
down.
I wouldn't do that if I was you, but
No, I'm just saying, it's the part that looks the worst, I'll tell you.
Tom,
Okay.
okay.
All right, good enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding the solar array being proposed and built by Ranger Power. Jeff, you want to talk about the agreement that county put together, the joint development agreement?
Thanks very much. Yes, I'd be happy to introduce the topic and give you a little bit of an update on the project. My name is Jeff Rao. I represent Ranger Power, and we have a proposal to build the Badger State Solar Facility, partially in the town of Oakland and partially in the town of Jefferson. And as a part of that process, Jefferson County has initiated, Ranger and Jefferson County, I guess, initiated a process to put together a joint development agreement that incorporates what local units of government would like to see as requirements for that facility. And you've got a draft of that document before you, I understand. And that has come from the county. I don't have a version that includes the county changes, so I'm going to leave that one to you to look at. But I'm here to answer any questions that you may have and to provide just a little bit of an update on the project as well. We are in the middle of a review process that is being overseen by the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. They have issued a notice indicating that, number one, that they're accepting public comments on our proposal. They have also set a hearing date of November 6th at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. Those hearings are designed for public input and public comment. The project overall I think I've briefed the project here before, but perhaps there are some who've not heard about it. I'm certainly happy to stick around and answer any questions. But in general terms, this is a project that generates power for use by utilities. The output has been purchased by Dairyland Power Cooperative based in La Crosse, Wisconsin. This would be a 149 megawatt facility that would help replace fossil fuel generation and thereby benefit the area or the state. In addition, there are other benefits to the area associated with a grass cover crop that many have compared to a conservation reserve program. And the project also will prompt payments of a shared revenue payment from the state of Wisconsin into local units of government. The project, the Badger State Solar Project, will pay taxes to the state based on gross receipts or the value of the energy that we sell. And then the state, in turn, turns around and provides a portion of those funds back to the townships and county that host the project. And so about $225,000 to $250,000 is available for the townships total. And depending on exactly how the project is split between the two townships, will dictate how those funds are shared between the two townships.
We're on the 90% of that, I'm assuming.
Very close, very close, plus or minus 50.
Oh. Thought I'd try.
And then there's another payment that goes to the county. And then there are other provisions that you see in there that deal with decommissioning, a commitment for the project to file financial assurance so that at the end of life, the project will be taken down and the land restored so that it can again be used for agricultural land. You see a provision associated with school districts because shared revenue comes to the township but not to the school district. And so Badger State has committed to replacing any property tax revenue that gets displaced from the school district and technical college as a part of that process.
Did a pretty nice job in the joint development agreement of laying that all out, I thought.
Thank you.
I didn't see a lot of changes after that original meeting. I think there was maybe a half a dozen in there, but nothing major that I saw. I thought it went pretty well.
Great, that's good to hear. I am available, happy to answer any questions that come up, and again, happy to make myself available if others have questions. I've also got some literature if folks are interested. I think I've shared it previously with the board, but I've got copies if there are others who'd like to see it.
We're still a couple years out, right?
We anticipate the Public Service Commission process going through the end of this year and maybe a decision in the first quarter of next year, which is a little faster than we had anticipated, but still, beyond the 6 months that the state is allowed by statute to come up with a decision. So they've given themselves a little bit of an extension. With that, we anticipate construction likely in 2021 and not before. So I think you're exactly right. A couple of years out from construction, and then operation be another year beyond that, plus or minus.
Okay, any questions for Jeff? Okay, well, thank you.
Very good. Thank
Thanks
you
for the
very much.
update, Jeff.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, next item is discussion and possible action regarding roads in Oakland Park Estates.
Thank you. I got some backups here. Mike, Nancy, and Tom back here. I got some handouts here.
Set you up for that.
You did. Right under there. Okay, sorry about that. I won't touch it here. Oakland Park Estates subdivision right across the road here. And every property owner pretty much keeps up their lots pretty nice. It's a good, beautiful place to live and so forth. The only problem is the subdivision is a different story. The road in the subdivision is a different story. I had some pictures there. And Chris, your hand those out.
You have the different ways?
No, these are, yeah, they're
That's
different.
another one. This-
I provided the other ones
Yep.
from this morning.
You could look at those. While I take the dog for a walk, I took some pictures there. You can see the edge of the road breaking off. Lots of patches throughout. Some patches are more than 10, 15 feet long. Throughout the subdivision, 75 to 80% of the road is discolored. potholes, and 90% of the road is cracked and breaking off. And you can see all the cracks in the roads there. So what we're asking for, that subdivision looks like Highway 18 out there, blacktop and so forth. There's nothing done for the last 25 years except for about 2 years ago, it was tarred. That lasted about a couple of years, then all of a sudden, yeah, exactly right. That's where the road looks right now.
Is that the tar that I'm looking at on one side and then?
Oh, that was, we did a slurry seal on
Is
that
that what it was?
whole development.
Yeah.
What is that, Jeff, 5 years ago? Maybe more than that already.
Wow.
2008. Oh, you're Jeff. My name is Don Grunwald.
Okay. That sounds right.
Yeah, okay. But you can see it's discolored. We're just asking you would consider putting this on the list for redoing the road, down the road,
Geez, that is
or as soon as possible.
holy cow.
You could keep those pictures, okay?
Can I make a couple of comments about the larger copies you got?
Go ahead.
Couple things to consider. That is just this morning, just some basic photos of what we're looking at in all of our cul-de-sacs. They're all very similar. And here's a couple things for you to think about. I know we got a new trash trucks. They're much larger than the other ones because there's less interaction with humans loading and unloading the truck. So these guys are having a hard time with the turning radius of these bigger trucks. Now what you got there is, if you look at the one cul-de-sac, you kind of see it far away, and then you got other pictures. If there's 4 pictures there, they're back to back. These guys are stopping, turning, grinding, stopping, turning, grinding, stopping, turning, grinding. And on that alligator surface, it's going to start popping them up like little pieces at a time, and it's going to get away from you. And I realize the efficiencies of, a cheaper trash service is good, but this is the other bad part of it, of how these trucks are cranking on it. And the other big truck traffic we have are the snowplows. So this is pretty dense housing. These cul-de-sacs are about 86 feet across. The connecting roads are 25 feet across. I happen to find in your files the original contract for doing this road work when they put in the development. So there's actually a good materials listing right there that give you an idea how much asphalt was put down there and when. It was back in 94, 95, the original stuff. We got 49 houses there. You hear the number 50, but the 50th one turned into an outlot. You got about just under $16 million worth of estimated fair market value there. All those houses, that's an average of $324,000 a house. So you got some nice houses in there. And there's a lot of people in 49 houses, and it's just their car traffic, but then when you throw those big trucks in there every week, and then in the winter the additional snow plowing, which they have to, it's difficult for them to plow those cul-de-sacs, bigger trucks. So you should consider that of what's going on with it beyond how we've always used the roads, that now we've got, some additional stuff going on. A lot of people are walking on them. They're noticing just how busted up. And you all did come in and fill in a couple of our potholes this spring. We appreciate that. But I think with these trucks and some of this other stuff, you're gonna see a lot more of them. So I think we'd like to see you put us on your list to be serious about doing it. And if you walk in and out, if you walk around the main circle, the main artery that does a loop, and would walk to the end of each one of these cul-de-sacs, you basically would walk a mile. That gives you kind of an idea, a little rough about, really, it's not all a straight shot mile, but it just gives you that, and then look at the original contract, and you'll have a pretty good idea of the square yards. There was 2 inches of binding asphalt, and then an inch put over the top, and that was over, of course, gravel and everything. So,
Are we talking miles of surface, or do we have any idea?
well, I just said it's basically
1 mile?
1 mile.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 mile. Just a touch more, like a a mile is 5,280 feet, and that's like right around 5,340, so it's really, really close to exactly a mile. But, so anyway, that's the gist.
Okay. How do you approach that to get on the list? What do you guys do on that?
To get on what list?
Well, get the roads improved and so forth.
We do a road tour. We got 52 miles of road in the town.
You do, okay.
And right now, with the amount of road aid we get, roads can be repaired about once every 95 years.
Wow, okay.
That's the budget.
Is
That's
that
where
right?
we are from the state side.
Is that right?
We've been
grants for
under,
this? You got grants for this at all?
there are some grants available, yeah. Typically, when we do a grant, we got one for Ripley Road.
Mm-hmm.
That was $1.6 million total cost.
Okay,
And a mile of road to rebuild, this wouldn't be a rebuild, of course,
sure.
but a mile of road to rebuild is about $1 million.
Is that, okay.
Just a mile of overlay, if you didn't have to do anything but overlay, is gonna be somewhere between $150,000 and $175,000.
Okay.
And, you know, we've been under a levy freeze since Doyle did this about, gosh, how many years ago is that? I think this
Probably
is,
8 or 9 years ago.
no, I think this will be our 10th year,
Is that?
Yeah,
10 or 11. So you can't raise,
Yeah.
you can't raise local levies.
Okay,
So we're always fighting a tight budget. I mean, Tom was in last year,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we talked about doing the same thing. And we did tour, we did go on that road touring it last year.
good.
I can't argue with the fact that we got cracks on that road. We got some shoulder areas that are starting to break off. And I guess all I can say is we'll take a look at it again in the spring when we do our
Appreciate that. We
late winter.
appreciate that, yeah, okay.
But you got to understand, we do have to prioritize these things because we only have so much money that we can spend.
Well, again, thank you for letting us express our concerns.
Yeah, and we appreciate your concern. You're exactly right. You got a nice neighborhood there. Everybody takes a lot of pride in their properties. You drive through there. It's not a through road,
No.
you know, so you don't get much more than your local traffic, which is good for the neighborhood. But, you know, it's one of those things where,
Okay. Just put us-
Chris, can we?
yeah, we were looking for, the problem we had when we built the town hall, we put a row, you know, these pine trees in here. Half of them should have been money trees. That would have really been sick. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, so.
Can we ask Badger, because Badger does have smaller trucks. Can we ask them if this is an area that could be served, if that's a concern?
Oh, yeah, I can ask them.
We can ask.
I think maybe that would.
That's a worthy question.
I gotta tell you, they gotta take three tries.
Yeah.
Basically, 3 tries to get.
Around the cul-de-sacs?
But you gotta, not only do you get in and out, you gotta pick up.
Yeah.
Where do they jockey and put
Mhm.
their containers, you know? It takes them at least 3 times to get in and out, and that's a lot of cranking on
Yeah.
those alligators type surfaces. You guys are gonna end up with some 8, 9, 10, 12-foot potholes.
Yeah, because we have the smaller, in our neighborhood, we have the smaller.
Does it still have the robot arm that comes out and
Yeah.
picks it up?
I don't know what truck they're bringing up to your neighborhood, but they do have one smaller truck that they go around with.
Good.
So,
I can certainly ask
Because our
them that.
street is,
Yeah.
Just note in your, when you talk to them, note that these cul-de-sacs are 86 feet across, so, you know, at.
well, it sounds like plenty, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the
not
jockey.
when you're talking
Yeah.
about a big
Turn
truck.
radiuses of the trucks, don't let 'em-
Do they come into the cul-de-sac?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility you could
Oh.
all
no.
put
You're,
out?
you'd be. I would say, like myself, I have a 200-foot driveway to start with. I'd have to probably go 400 or 500 feet to
Yeah.
get out on the main artery.
Right.
These things stick back. You know, honestly, you're trying to get a lot of houses in a small area. Which
I
you're very good
know. We live off Park Road, and we have to bring our garbage out to the park from our house. I mean, all of our neighbors.
That's a private road.
I don't think the neighbors,
private-
the other neighbors care for that too much.
No.
Yeah.
We,
You've got 3 of us here, you'll have more.
we have that situation on some of the little roads, small, narrow roads on the lake. Yours is a private one, so that's the reason for that, but,
But ours is pretty small, and
yeah,
so.
Well,
okay, and thank you for,
thank you, appreciate it.
I got,
Thanks for
I got an
coming.
envelope
Yeah,
here.
thanks for coming, guys.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on a variance for N4516 Wall Lane, parcel number 022-0613-0644-059, to allow a deck owned by Larry Griebenow.
And I'm just gonna caution you, I forgot to include that cover sheet in your packets that Ted is holding up, so, yes, so that's the one that goes on top of this request. My apologies for that.
It was on your...
It was on top of your, that one right there.
That goes with that package.
Yep.
You must be Larry.
Yes, good evening.
Okay.
So I have a deck that I have built. I was given verbal permission by the county to build it, which was a mistake. And so now it's over the setback. It's 15 feet from the property line instead of 25. And
How long ago was the deck built?
What's that?
How long ago was that built?
The end of last year.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, those rules changed about 5, 7 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah,
that?
yeah. it's
10 maybe?
At least that long ago.
Larry, tell them the whole story that you
Okay,
told the,
let him finish.
yeah.
Okay, well, I was told I needed a zoning permit, applied for the permit, had someone from the county call and say it was approved. This was a year ago, it was last October, and so I built the deck. It's a ground level deck. You can't even see it from next door because it's behind a fence. And after a couple of weeks after I built it, I got another call, and someone said, well, you're going to need a variance because it's too close to the property line. And at that point, I'd already built the deck, and the person I talked to denied having told me originally that I was approved. But I guess that's all beside the point. The issue is it's too close to the property line, and I need a variance in order to be able to, for it to be allowed. So that's where I'm at.
So the planning committee,
We looked at this, and it's either 14, we could add 15. But all of these lots in Shore Place are substandard. There are tons of properties back there that are within 5, 10, 8, 15,
Or
20
closer.
feet. Or closer to the road. So there's no reason not to grant this and let Larry have it. He's right, I mean, there's only two houses that basically front on the private road, which is gravel. There's not traffic by it, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's going to pose a great hazard for people going around, because you have to know that the driveway is there, get to it, and so we see no reason to not grant the variance.
okay, questions for Larry?
I'll make a motion to grant the variance on North 4516 Wall Lane.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the variance for the deck to have a 14-foot, I take it?
14 or 15.
14,
There's-
it says 14 on here, setback to allow the ground level deck.
Should we make sure we got that right?
Any further discussion? It's 14.
Okay.
14 is the closest it is.
Yeah.
There's one
Yeah.
corner of
That's
the deck
what-
that's
yeah.
15, but that doesn't
That's
matter.
what you gotta
Yeah,
go
we
by.
got to buy the closest one, so.
If no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Larry.
Larry, I'll let the county know about this tomorrow morning, so they're aware of it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Do you know if you're on the county agenda already?
The one girl I talked to there a few days ago said that I should be
Okay.
for next month, but it's not for sure.
This will be there tomorrow morning, so.
Yeah, I'll take care of
Should
it.
be all right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding a rezone for N3045 County Road J. Parcel numbers 022-0613-2532-000 and 022-613-2533-000 from A1 to A3 to create a 4-acre residential lot, I take it.
Correct.
Okay, and you are Larry? No, you
I'm
are.
Brad Geffert, and my
I got the
wife is
wrong,
Karen
I got the
Geffert.
wrong sheet here.
Yeah.
Last name is Ted.
Okay, tell us what you got. You met with the planning committee.
Might be helpful for everybody to go to this page in the packet.
So wait, no, you're
It's Sir Hagan.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and look at the last.
Very last
Makes-
page in
Makes a lot more sense when you look at the layout. So,
There you go.
go ahead.
So my wife Karen and I, our family have an offer with Carrie Smith to purchase her land, 57 total acres. We're asking for rezoning of 4 acres for a building site. The building site that we chose is in non-prime ag land. Our hope is to keep as much of the land into production agriculture as possible. And then the land there that you see in the building site for building a home.
And the 4 acres includes the roadway out to J.
And your total land that you're buying is?
57 acres.
57. So there's no house on it now at this
Correct.
point? There's
There's
nothing,
there's
nothing
no
back there?
structure on it currently at all.
The driveway is 620 feet long on the long side, 530 on the other.
Correct.
When you put the driveway in, you will need to have a what do they call it? Turnout for fire truck,
At least one, if not 2, depending on what the final number is.
every 300 feet. So
So it'll be
you,
2 if it's over 600. then.
yeah, well, you're 530 on the one side, so you probably get by with one, but
Yep.
whatever makes the most sense for you guys. when you
Correct, we were
build.
aware of that, thank you, James.
So when you come for a driveway permit, typically I meet you out there and we'll go through that same thing again, just so you're aware of that. Planning committee?
We reviewed it and listened to their discussion. They're going to farm it and do lots of interesting things with this, and this makes sense. It's a good use of the land.
Okay.
And so we recommend approval.
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance for North 4516,
County Road J.
I got the right one here?
No, 3045.
I'm sorry.
Number
You are
30.
3045 County Road J.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's made.
There is not an address on that property. correct?
There's not?
It's parcel numbers.
Correct.
Yeah, it's parcel number.
And we did not heard that.
Okay.
We
Okay.
had it as near 4035, so I used the parcel number.
Yeah,
Okay.
use the parcel number.
Okay, I'll make the motion then to approve the variance for parcel numbers 022-0613-2532-000 and 022-0613-2533-000 from A1 to A3.
I'll second it.
Okay,
That's
motion.
to rezone.
Right. Motion's made and seconded to approve or recommend the rezoning of the parcel on County Road J. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And same thing, I'll fire that off to the county in the morning. You're welcome.
Okay, item number 14 is, they called this afternoon. They're not going to be here, so we're going to skip over that. They want to put it on next month's agenda, I think, is what they told you.
Yeah, they were unable to make it, they had a conflict tonight.
Okay, next item is discussion and possible action on a new town hall rental agreement.
This is gonna be pretty brief. The old rental agreement that I have been using so far was very sternly worded. And so,
Really?
I decided that, we can be a little bit nicer. And so, substance-wise, there's very little changes. Fee-wise, there are no changes, but I just put it in such a way that didn't come off as very crass. And then the other thing that I did add is at the very last page is I included a diagram to how the room should be set back up, because I've come back in here some days after the town hall has been rented and nothing is put back together or it's put back incorrectly, which when I'm the only person doing it, it can take me a little while to do it. So I'm just looking for approval for this, no financial changes or anything like that. And then this will go on the website tomorrow morning.
I'm okay with it.
One change I see, it says when using the town hall in the second paragraph, if you need more chairs, there are 30-ish located in the board. In the cart.
In the board room.
There you go.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then I would also suggest that on the first page in the second paragraph, the deposit check will be returned to you or shredded, your choice, upon inspection or...
Okay. Yep.
I know it covers that on page 2.
Yep,
but-
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Do we allow alcohol?
No.
No alcohol.
Says that in the back, yeah.
Yep.
It does
Says it
say
on the next page.
No alcohol in the town hall. That's what the Ripley Bar is for.
I guess I missed one.
Yes, sir. I'll make a motion to approve the amended town hall rental agreement. That's more friendly.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the rewriting of the town hall rental agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Next item, discussion and possible action on giving a town hall key to the 4-H club.
Continuing the theme of friendliness, and it, remind me again what her name is?
Laura Evenson,
Laura Evenson is your
my nephew's wife.
nephew's, thank you. I can never remember.
So I don't know.
So it's in the family a little bit, by marriage.
Conflict.
But as you all are aware, the 4-H has this room every third Sunday of the month. They usually have to get a key from you, I assume.
Or I open it.
Or you open it for them. And in an effort to be a little bit more user-friendly, and since we have 4 extra town hall keys, now that I've gone through them and figured out what we have, I thought it would be a good idea to give them one. Maybe collect some sort of a deposit, just in case something happens with the key, but it would make their life a lot easier. I've been emailing back and forth. This is something she would really appreciate, but I don't have that authority. You guys do, so.
Do we want to start giving out keys in that manner? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't we offer her to come in and get one, Joy, to make
night
keys
before or
for her?
something?
She can come in, yeah, that's what,
Is she doing that? Or-
no.
No.
She is, if I'm not able to open up, I give her my key and then she returns it to me.
Don't think we want. Do we want to do that? This is why you're trying to fix that, right?
I
you don't have to
This
load
is,
your
this
key
is
up?
my idea.
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't talk to Joy about this.
Oh.
I simply asked Laura if this would be something that would make her life easier, and she said it would make it a lot easier. So I figure since they are an established group, they're in here every month. For the most part, they put the room back together, maybe a chair or two here and there, but nothing major. I thought, why not? And it's not a big deal one way or the other for me. I'm just trying to be a little bit more friendly.
Could they come and check the key out, like have it, instead of just give it?
They can. I mean, I don't, Bruce might have a question, but they can. I mean, they can come anytime during business hours when we're here and get one.
Bruce?
Originally, when we built this building, I had all the keys cut and made for the complex. I got a box, they're numbered, they're labeled, I know who's got what. Now I'm hearing that we've got 4 extra sets of keys, because people are making keys without my authority. I mean, if that's how we want to operate, that's fine. I'm worried about the building not being locked. I don't know why we can't just have a key that we give out to rentals. They come in, they sign for it, when they're done, they drop it in the drop box. And make life simple that way.
And we do that. We do that for people who only rent it once. That is not unusual.
I'm a little uncomfortable having keys out. I'm with Bruce, and I don't know where those 4 extra keys came from. I have no idea. Originally, when keys were distributed out, it was to the board, and my guess that is how we got extra keys when new board members come on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I've got 4 extras that I don't know where they came from, but I've got them.
Does it say do not duplicate on those keys?
I don't.
Probably not.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Because how else do you stop someone from duplicating?
mine is just a plain old Ace hardware key, and it does not say it on there. So this
See,
was,
that isn't
this
one-
was not a master key.
That isn't one of the original
For
keys.
the main door, both sides here, when I did those initially, the blanks for them, they had 2 different styles of blanks as far as the head of the key, the round
Right.
or the
Right.
rectangle or square. Mine's round. Yours is
Mine's-
rectangle.
yeah.
And mine's round.
The blank was generally the same. And, I cut the proper number of keys for the proper number of people that needed keys, logged in their names, date they're issued. When they return them, I logged them back.
But have you logged in new board members?
I haven't gotten any, I don't know if I have everybody on the board or not. I'd have to go look.
Yeah, because my guess is that's where it happened, Bruce.
You do one going out.
Do a handoff.
Yeah, 'cause we-
And I'm not thinking about it, because we were on the board, I don't think about it.
I'm the only original
Don't
one
think
from
about
that
it?
board, so
That's true.
my guess is that's probably where that all happened.
Yeah, I have no clue where my keys came from.
I'd like to see you know where your keys were.
No.
That'll be in a few
No,
years,
that'll
when
be-
you get to be my age.
Yeah, a couple more years and I'll be there.
I guess I agree with you guys. I prefer to have a rental and then drop off too. I mean, it just makes more sense. If you're okay with it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I just
It is, it isn't that we don't trust Laura,
Mm-hmm.
we certainly do, but it's really not a big deal for her to run by and visit with her aunt and pick up the
Well,
key and then drop it
a lot of
back off.
times it works out when it's the weekend before our meetings, so
You get to
I
come
pick
in
up
and
my
pick up your-
packet then.
Sure.
And then if if she'll either keep my key and lock it up, or else I'll come back and lock it up too.
Does that rental key got a cow tag on it, your tag?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I thought.
Wouldn't we prefer them to use the rental key than her giving her key to somebody else? Doesn't that defeat the purpose?
that's kind of where I was going with it. Is that and the only thing, not that this could or couldn't happen, but if you're out of town or you're not available and they don't have a way to get in, I don't know what we would do. I don't know what we would do. I don't know.
Well, I think when we first set it up, Gene had said, if you ever need someone to open or whatever,
Yeah.
that he would be able to.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Well, there should be some control over
Yeah.
the keys.
Is
I
that his
totally
jacket?
agree.
Is he leaving?
You talk about
Could-
security and everything.
When you pick up your packet, could you take the rental key with you and give it to her, and then she can just drop it in the box?
Sure.
Instead of
we can do
giving
it
your
that
own
way.
key that way? That way, when she's done, she can lock up, throw it in the box, she's done.
I don't know where it is, though. Is it in
I would
the
have to
drawer?
give you. I would have to give you one, which is not a problem. It's your fault.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
So
not a
it's very
problem.
doable.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next item is discussion and possible action to approve the draft of the annual audit.
I emailed this to you guys.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't-
I
like,
didn't either, I didn't print
it's
it though.
like
that's for
42
sure.
pages.
It
Oh,
is.
okay.
It's long, but I emailed it to you guys a few weeks ago.
Yeah, all right.
What'll happen is, once it's approved, Jeff will send me one final pretty one, and that will be kept in the office forever.
I did go through it. I didn't see anything in there.
There were no significant notes to
No.
the audit.
None at
that I
all.
can recall.
None at all.
Yeah, I did.
I'll defer to you then, because I.
Yeah.
Well,
Me
I
too.
looked at it and
I'm
said, I'm
bad.
not printing this at home, so.
But yes, it was long.
I went into the,
Yeah.
went
was
into
long.
the recommendation.
I didn't print it either. I just, well, I fell asleep twice, but other than that, I did manage to get through it all. Make a motion to approve the draft of the annual audit.
So move.
Second? I made the motion. Did
Oh,
you second? it?
I'm seconding it then.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, next item is discussion and action on,
I thought we were gonna take
boy.
this up at a separate,
I did too.
Might have to.
And I think we,
Given the,
I think we
voluminous
probably should.
nature of it.
The only thing I saw in here, there's several places in here, Chris, where you or Susan have been asked a question. Okay, Chris or Susan, does this need to be changed?
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
Let's wait for that to get answered
Right,
before we.
there were several of those when I read it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And would you, when you get free time during a Yankee game, take it along home or something? Because those Yankee games are really boring anyway. But kind of check that and see where responses are.
I will.
And then I think we'll take that up after we're all done with the budget and getting that all done.
yeah. Because that's what I thought we said last.
Yeah,
week,
we
that
did.
Okay.
It would be.
That's my mistake. I missed that, and
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Like there's one in here that says you're gonna talk to the police chief about the uniforms. I mean, I don't know if you did that or not, so.
Well, yeah.
I think he wants uniforms.
Well, it's
Okay,
a
so now.
different way of them getting the uniforms.
Yeah.
So now, let's just spend a few minutes on, let Chris review the budget.
All right, so what you have is,
That's this one here?
yeah, the legal size paper. It's a rough draft. It's not finished, as I mentioned. We're still waiting on some fire numbers. So what is finished is the revenue side, but the revenue side is always the easiest one because, I should say easiest, it's easier because you're predicting how much money you think you're gonna take in, and everybody loves to do that. So if you start on page 1, I'm not gonna go through every line item right here, but if you start on page 1, if you see the green boxes that I highlighted, I'll focus on, I'll use the taxes line items first. So if you look at 41111 through 41800, that total is represented over on the far right column of the draft budget of 595, 793.25. Everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
So then what I did is, since taxes is its own category, I did the solid green line all the way across that is boxed in black in bold with the white font. So that is the total for that category from 2018 actual, 2019 budget, 2019 through September 30th, what we estimate through the end of the year, and then the budget for next year. So that is true all the way through the budget.
Except that.
Except for this one, of course, this number is probably going to change, so don't pay attention to it. But the setup, just so you, that's what the setup is all the way through. If you flip
What's not in there is the debt service.
the
That
short-term
has-
loan.
That has to be added to the property tax line.
Gotcha.
That's why
Yeah,
there's,
that's
that's
the
why
basis.
that's so
Right.
much
That's it.
less.
It's the
Yeah.
levy, the
Yeah.
levy.
Exactly.
Were you arriving at the percentage increase or decrease number?
So that is the total number. So I'm going to pick one line. I'm going to pick 41,118 personal property tax, and just use that as an example. It is 6,600 divided by 7,000. I'm sorry. In this instance, 7,000 divided by 6,600.
It's 106%.
106%. So we're projecting we're going to get slightly more revenue in this specific line item next year than we got for this year. And that number actually, we're not projecting because we got it from the state, so we know we're gonna get a little bit more. Did that answer your question?
So we're talking about a 6% increase?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
So our overall levy went up 1.5%?
Yes, this is a good question. Our overall levy went up 1.5%, and that I get that from the state. That's the max that we can go. That number is actually filled in, if you see the 517,706 under town property taxes, it's 41,111. Our levy, again, that's the short-term loan that we're going to take out next year, but the actual tax levy is that amount. I get that from the state too, so that is as high as it will go, with the exception of the short-term loan that we'll take out, which I will add in probably tomorrow. So that's the setup for revenues. It's also the setup for expenses. The only difference is that because I don't have all the numbers for expenses, I can't figure out what the bottom line is yet. I'm still waiting on Fort numbers for fire and Jefferson. I could use last year's as an example, and I may end up doing that at least for the time being. I got Cambridge's today, so I have those saved on my computer.
I think if you send the two, the Fort Atkinson municipal.
My counterparts?
No.
The chiefs?
Well, yeah, no, your counterparts at City of Fort Atkinson, City of Jefferson.
They can probably get it for
They
me.
can get it to you shortly.
Well, wasn't it
Wasn't it in the contract?
though?
It is, but that contract hasn't been approved yet. So we're still waiting, and that number could change just a little bit.
Yeah, that's.
So I have a good idea, but I didn't want to put it in there because I'm not 100% sure yet.
Okay.
Also, we have a contract with Fort Atkinson, or will have a contract with Fort Atkinson for one number. But we need to split that up between EMS and fire.
Okay.
And the reason we have to do that is for 2% fire dues.
Okay.
So I have to get that split
So
from them.
those, yeah, right, so that has to be done by that.
But that doesn't mean you can't look at the numbers and scrutinize them, because everything else except fire is done.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I'll draw your attention to is, if you just flip back to revenues real quick, under interest, I realize that we budget very conservatively, and that's not a bad thing, because I like to do that too. But I noticed that the interest that we had, it's listed under miscellaneous revenue on page 3. The interest that we had budgeted for versus what we actually received there was an incredible difference there. If you look at the top of page 4, that has the totals. So in 2019, we budgeted $3,250 for interest, and as of September 30th, we've already received $22,000 of interest, almost 23. So I've upped those numbers to more accurately reflect what kind of interest we're going to get, but I still think we're underestimating, we're underreporting, which is not a bad thing. We're being conservative, but saying we're going to get $3,250 and actually getting.
Well, you actually didn't increase those, Chris. You talked about doing it, but I don't think you've done
Yeah,
that.
they're not
I did.
increased.
Right here.
Yeah, but,
I didn't increase, well, I didn't go up to the 27 though.
Oh.
I mean, I can,
okay,
but that wouldn't be,
yeah. Okay. Well, we also don't know we pulled a lot out of reserves this year
Yeah,
for roads.
we did.
We're gonna make
And that's the other
money,
thing. We don't have, I mean, we've taken $300,000 out of the public works reserves to do road work and projects, and so we're gonna get less, but that was just something that I noticed right away. So I think we're gonna budget a little bit more, but we're not gonna go off the deep end. So look at these numbers, digest these numbers, please ask questions. Susan and I have both been working on them. We both have a much better understanding of the budget than we did before. I'm almost finished with it, but I'm going to have a narrative that will explain there are some accounts that we split out. There are some line items that we split out. There are some line items that we combined. And I have all of that information on my computer, so that way you know where all the money, where it was, where it was going, or where it's going, where it wasn't going, and where it could be going. So it's hard to explain without having that, but trying to keep it all straight, it was easier for me to put it on paper and just list it all down. So this is a very first draft. It's not finished, but I feel really good about it, but I don't know how our expenses look just yet.
Did you throw a little money in for the internet rather than go with the contract? Did you throw a few hours of support in?
I didn't, but I can, and that's something that I mean, I can do that.
Because I don't know how you get to your phones and internet at 5,000.
That's only from Charter. That's the utility charges from Charter.
So I would,
Maybe put it at 6?
yeah, I think so. That way you've got,
We got a cushion.
you've got a cushion for that.
What line item is that?
51431,
51431.
page 6.
Thank you.
Top of page 6.
Okay, I'll note that on here.
So that's gonna be 6,000?
Yes. And I will give you guys new sheets when I have everything updated, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, it was too expensive to go to a contract, but.
You're right, we should put something.
Realistically,
And just to give you guys an idea, Ted had suggested that I investigate through Computers Nationwide, who did our servers and that stuff, that maybe we sign up for a block of time, like support time, so that, because when I call them, it's $125 an hour for anything, but they also sell big blocks of time, but it was I think it was for 20 hours, it was like $7,000 or $8,000, and that's not something that we can, we can't afford that, so.
That's a lot of money for
yeah.
$20.
So, but, every now and then, you hit a problem or you need something.
You draw from that.
We gotta have some money available to.
But I think that's a great idea, and I'll put that in there.
Okay.
I'll definitely put that in there. But stuff like that, if you think of stuff, ask us both. Both Susan and I, we both put this together. It wasn't, I mean, she did a lot of the numbers stuff, but we both talked about it and went through stuff. Jeff and Chief helped me out with their departments, so I heard from multiple people that was maybe one of the first times that they ever had exposure to this. Those guys. So I'd like, I don't know their departments at all. So it was nice to have their input. But so far so good. It's I always get a little, what do you say, goosey? I always get a little goosey around budget time because it's the budget, but I feel pretty good about this so far. So nothing we have to do tonight, but Gene and I talked about maybe having a special meeting where we go through this and talk about it, throw numbers out there, make changes, stuff like that. I'm totally on board with that if you guys are.
What do you think you'll have everything done by first week of November? November 19th is our meeting, and that's the day we have our annual meeting.
Right.
Approve the levy, or have the electors approve the levy, approve the budget.
Adopt the budget.
The special meeting we have, we will fine tune the budget, figure out what our borrowing needs to be. And that would, I'm thinking first week of November.
I would like to think we would have everything by then. I'd be shocked if we didn't.
Somebody got a calendar open?
Yeah.
Solar meeting is November 6th.
Which one?
The
The solar.
Ranger meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first week of November,
Starts the 4th, 5th, and do we know if there's anything for planning at this point?
as of right now, there's not. So we could,
Okay.
forgot your coat?
At some point.
I
would miss it.
You didn't get far, did you?
I got a nice text, which I was very thankful.
Yeah, if we have nothing for planning, that would open up the 5th.
Does that work for everybody?
That's a
Tuesday.
night?
Tuesday night?
First Tuesday of the month.
Should.
That work?
That is 3 weeks from now.
November 5th, at what time?
Tom, that work for you? Or are you gonna be in Hawaii or
No,
something?
I'm not going, I don't think so.
No?
What time?
I mean, we can go earlier if that works for you guys. We can, I mean, this is a working budget meeting. I imagine this will be the only thing on the
November
agenda.
5th, why do I have it as an election day? It's not.
It will be next year.
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah,
this year.
not this year.
It's not this year.
Yeah, I don't see anything on my calendar.
Okay.
Okay, we'll put that on there then.
What time did we say?
I'd say start at 7 again, or you wanna go earlier?
It's up to you guys.
Go earlier.
We can do 6:30, Tom, can you do that?
Sure.
6:30?
I don't expect it to be more than an hour, I really
No,
don't.
I don't.
And I might even be shocked if it goes that long. But,
Okay, in correspondence, we got the court dockets and the planning committee minutes.
and then I also included, we just got this in the mail today, a copy of this letter from the city of Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
In support of the solar array. So I thought you guys might want to see that too.
Should we be doing the same thing?
We can. I mean, I could easily put something like that together.
I think we should, unless somebody has an objection to it. I think we should, and I think we should get it in there before they have their meeting on the 6th.
It's interesting, this was mentioned at our zoning steering committee meeting at the county level, and the consultants were very positive and affirmative, and then one lady in the back said, you know, not all of us like it. So I'm going to guess there will be a few people who will show up.
Well, there's a few people concerned about looking at the solar farm.
I'm sure there is.
And
Yeah, and I'm sure if it were across the street from me,
it's basically the same thing you hear on the power lines, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at that.
That-
But once it's up there, a year or two, you don't even see it.
They have to hold public hearings, don't they?
It's
Like we do?
November 6th.
But
Yeah,
we-
that's that November 6th date
November
that,
6th.
that he was talking about.
But we don't have to do it here.
No.
No,
They
it's at the
coordinate all that.
fairgrounds. That's all done by them.
Okay. But the town, us as a township, we don't have to have a public hearing as a
No.
township? Okay.
No.
It's at 2 and 6?
3 and 6, wasn't it?
Two
Or
and-
No, I thought it was 2 and 6.
I wrote 2
Yeah,
and
it was 2 and 6.
I think you're right. And on top of my sheet here, but I
Yep,
got it on.
2 and 6.
Yeah, 2 and 6.
So you want me to put a letter together?
Yeah.
That was
Would you?
November 6th, you said?
Yeah,
2 and 6.
at the fairgrounds.
Okay. Next item is to approve disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve disbursements beginning with check 40760 through and including electronic funds transfer 34201639 in the aggregate amount of $237,949.17.
Oh, second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve disbursements in the amount of $237,949.17. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, next meeting date is November 5th, 6:30, and then our annual meeting and regular board meeting to follow. Annual meeting will be at 7, and then our board meeting to follow.
Right after
That's
that.
how it's done.
Yep.
On November 19th.